welcome to this Woman Wednesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco, coming to you today as we do every day from high atop Midtown Manhattan at the Newsmax headquarters. And, of course, as always, we're in the Question Tequila studios. We have a little changes to our studio. We're always fixing, trying to make things just right for you. And while we're in Midtown, downtown at the New York Stock Exchange, the market is quite docile this morning, pretty level. Nothing's going to happen until we get some certainty out of the Fed. There's going to be a whole bunch of Fed speak today. They'll come out with the cut. Then they'll come out with a whole press conference where everyone will analyze every single word. So keep your chin strap buckled because Fed news is coming at the market today. I think it may be 50 basis points to avoid an emergency cut down the line. But even 25 is priced in, and both 25 or 50 are good for the market. Bitcoin, I noted the other day that it was trading a little erratically. The IRS is sending out notifications that people need to pay taxes on their gains if they traded them as stocks almost. Bitcoin is viewed by the IRS as property. So if you buy it and sell it, you pay a capital gains tax, which is much lower on property, real property, than it is if you're day trading. So if you've been trading cryptocurrency, you probably got a lot bigger tax bill than you know. So take heed to these IRS warnings. And when the IRS starts getting involved, stay alert and nimble because I think Bitcoin could be going much lower. It is up 500 today, just above the 10,000 level. I thought it might be a good short at these levels. So stay very careful. And I'm careful every day to bring in someone to keep me honest, keep me straight. My managing editor and co-host Frank Morano joins me again at the new, beautiful chrome and glass table.
Yes, congratulations on the new table, John. I admire your taste a great deal.
And who is this joining us in the middle seat
You'll
today?
See momentarily a very surprising guest. It will not be a woman, though. Perhaps it will be someone identifying as a woman.
We're going to break all the rules today, even though it's Women Wednesday. When you get somebody big, you've got to break the rules a little bit. And I don't think any of the women will be mad.
That's right. I completely agree. Now, you talk about the Federal Reserve. That is one of the many subjects that I will be speaking frankly about. The Department of Defense is confirming that North Korea fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles off its east coast. According to 2 U.S. defense officials, at least 2 missiles were fired, and they're still working to determine what type. The White House says it will monitor the situation, but there's no indication that they posed a threat to the United States or any ally. President Trump is pushing the Federal Reserve to enact a substantial interest rate cut. Speaking at the White House yesterday, Trump said the strong economy could be even better with more help from the nation's central bank. He called himself disappointed by the Fed's actions. The Fed is expected to make a move on interest rates this week. Trump has been very critical of Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the man he chose to replace Janet Yellen early last year. And finally, author and activist Marianne Williamson is the #1 Googled candidate at the Democratic presidential candidate debate last night. She took the debate stage in Detroit along with 9 other hopefuls. Williamson, who mounted an unsuccessful congressional bid in California 5 years ago, led searches in 49 of 50 states. Governor Steve Bullock was #1 in his home state of Montana. So that's what's happening, John.
It's quite amazing with all the things you do in a day. He's the producer of the Joe Piscopo Show, heard here in New York on AM 970. The Answer. He's also on air. They know him as Frankie Five Boroughs, so he's that character. He hosts his own show on Sunday mornings, Morano in the mornings, and then somehow or another I squeeze the last bit of blood I can out of him, and he tapes those things so you can know what's going on in your neck of the woods and around the country. Because I usually have too many drinks and forget most of the stuff he writes right here for me. But you cannot forget when you have a big, huge guest and you break all the rules on Women Wednesday. When you have Bernie McGuirk from the Bernie and Sid show right here in New York, heard on AM on 77 WABC. WABC, and Bernie and Sid, you guys took over for Imers. Bernie,
Yes, sir.
I know Frank and I have known you for years. We're both fans. You're kind of like a cult hero. You're like a folk legend.
You say that to all the fellas.
Yes, I do.
And you're making me blush. But I like Frankie Five Boroughs. I like that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
this kid gets around. Let me tell you,
right?
you know that.
He's got some Metro card on.
That's right. It's an unlimited.
I love what he does too. Ready? Because I'm not good with Metro cards, so like I don't know. I have like 3 of them. I go, Frankie, we're gonna play Metro card roulette. I don't know which one of them has any money on it.
Yeah, same here.
I go, I'm dead. Give me your card. Oh, no, this is an unlimited.
It's
you only get one swipe per day, so you can't even lend you.
Otherwise, people would be there all day swiping other
But wait a
folks
second.
in.
These days, you can just jump the turnstile.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
I mean,
What are you worried about?
De Blasio
Or you go
doesn't
underneath
care.
it if you can't jump
De
it.
Blasio's in Iowa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
the cops got worse things to worry about, like getting buckets of water poured over their heads than catching me and Frankie jumping a turnstile, you know?
Yeah, they do. They have a lot to worry about. But Cyrus Vance is still here, and he says it's okay.
It's crazy, and less and less the cops and first responders fight are getting less and less respect. They haven't got pay raises in years, and De Blasio's like MIA. He's not. He don't even exist.
Which is good. Get the hell out of here. We don't need him. He's the one that he caused a lot of this guy with his comments back in 2014 after the hands up, don't shoot hoax and the Eric Garner thing, and then of course repeating them on the debate stage. We all know he's a disaster. Keep him out of New York. We don't need him.
What are you expecting from de Blasio tonight when he's on the stage with Joe Biden and Kirsten Gillibrand and Cory Booker?
More of the same. I mean, he's gonna echo, mimic some of the lunatic platform that you heard from Liz Warren and Bernie Sanders. He's going to echo some of that. And I mean, at this point, with the CNN debate moderators, are they going to ask him, do you regret your comments demonizing police in the wake of the dousing of the cops with water, the disrespect shown the police? Do you regret your comments? Will they ask him that question? Of course not. They're not going to put him on the spot because the fellow travelers, as you know, the CNN moderators, I mean, Don Lemon as a moderator on CNN. Jake Tapper, I know he's a little, I like Jake Tapper. He's not going to ask the tough questions. He's not.
What did you think of the format last night in the debate?
Well, first of all, it was white night, and I was triggered by that. It was only white candidates.
Oh, wow.
There was no female.
They wanted to contain the racism to one night, maybe, because that's the big rally cry right now. Everybody's racist.
There was no female woman of color as a moderator. I was triggered by that as well. So it was difficult for me to get past that stuff. But the format was stupid. The whole lottery thing was a stunt for ratings because they're dying. You should have had Biden and Kamala Harris should be on the stage with Sanders and Warren. They should have the big boy table and the kiddie table like the Republicans had.
Yeah.
I mean that worked well.
Absolutely.
This to me is splintered. It's stunted. It's just not right.
It's like you should let all the 1 and 2 percenters fight it out. So that like one champion can be hard and then go after the other 4, rather than just dump them all in with the Lions. They're kind of wasted. But you're saying that you were bothered last night that it was too white and there was no women of color.
Sarcasm alert, John. Maybe you don't know me that well, but
I didn't know if we should set up a safe zone in here for you to get over.
Plus this liquor over here. You know, I've been sober 1 year, 3 months, 2 weeks, and 5 days. No, I'm only kidding.
Okay. Well, we'll have a drink when we mix it up. Good. That's a lot better. He was just about to snort our makeup lady, Cece. He was just about to snort her powder off the table.
I just came from.
At least it was off the table.
Liquid lunch. I'm looking forward to bong brunch. To be quite honest with you.
We could do it. We might have to start an hour earlier. So I want to take a look at a clip from the debate last night and talk about it. Let's take a look. Do we have that clip? Yeah, that's me. I wasn't in the debate last night.
Guy.
Hey, how are you? I'm for.
If it's true that if we embrace a far-left agenda, they're going to say we're a bunch of crazy socialists. If we embrace a conservative agenda, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say we're a bunch of crazy socialists. So let's just stand up for the right policy, go out there and defend it.
So he's basically saying, hey, we are crazy socialists.
You know what? And not articulating where he stands, by the way. That's why I call him Sneaky Pete. Because, I mean, he wants to have it both ways. I'm serious. He doesn't. What was his position on it? Is it too crazy or is it not too crazy? I mean, at least you had Delaney and Ryan and those guys, and even Hickenlooper, the guy who watched porn with his moms, saying that you guys are nuts. You guys are crazy. Sneaky Pete did not say that. And by the way, his pandering because to try to get over what he did in South Bend with the black people. The blacks don't like him. He knows that. He's calling Trump a racist. He compared Trump to David Duke last night. This guy, Sneaky Pete, who was he was pretty much kissing ass clown Al Sharpton's butt at the Action Network thing.
That's right.
Here in Manhattan a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he's got some nerve.
Yeah, and you want to know something? If you want to get black votes, African American votes, the last place you should go is to Al Sharpton and the National Action Network, because most people that I know of color, they don't agree with Al Sharpton or his tactics.
Look, the guy's a bust-out racist. He is a anti-Semite. He's got blood on his hands through
Freddie's
Fashion Mart, the Crown Heights riots, Yanko Rosenbaum, all that stuff.
Trump said he's a con man.
But do you think that the moderators would ask them that question? They all kissed his butt at that National Action Network conference a couple of months ago.
Yep.
You think they would ask not one question on that? How could you side with Al Sharpton, given his past to Tawana Broly, Holt? Not one question. That's why I couldn't stand watching that thing last night.
So, hey, Bernie, you're going to stick with us. I appreciate you coming down. We're going to mix it up right after this. Every day we demonstrate our purpleness by bringing on a Republican and a Democrat who aren't getting paid to take a beating, and we mix it up. And that's the segment where I mix up a cocktail and throw out the topics, sit back and have a sip and let them fight it out. But in our last couple minutes here, I want to ask you, because I got to switch back and forth between Joe Piscopo on AM 970 and Bernie and Sid on 77, because I got Frank there, but you guys are so colorful and fun and topical.
That's very nice.
Frank doesn't get to talk that much, and you guys are actually like really insightful. But I'm wondering, why don't you do more sports on that show? You got Sid there. He's like supposedly the sports guy. Why don't you do a little more sports?
Well, listen, it's a programming decision on the part of the management, and we do some sports.
I hear it.
A sports report at 57 past the hour. Sid is nobody better at sports than Sid Rosenberg. Nobody. The guy is he's like a savant when it comes to sports.
We're Sid fans. That's why I'm asking why we don't hear what he's actually really good at, which is sports.
Well, maybe you'll hear some of that in the future.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. But it's a very good question.
Seems like you guys may be getting some new management over there. So
I can't really. I heard some rumors. I heard things.
I heard some things. Well, listen, we're going to come back and mix it up. Bernie's going to stick with us. Kate Herman is going to join us on the left. She's a model, comedian, and in our effort to continue to make television great again, here's what's on the menu for today's show. We already had Bernie in the leadoff spot on Women Wednesday. And of course, he's on 77 ABC right here in New York, across the country. But we continue to bring on people like Kate, who are red and blue, and the other networks like MSNBC and all these liberals, they pay a Republican to take a beating. And Fox News pays someone to take a beating from the Democrat side. We bring in real people. And a little later on in the show, we have Susan Settembrino. She's a distinguished attorney and legal analyst.